Hi, this is Cora Stack again. I just wanted to. I've been talking about a lot about justice and about access to justice, and it's kind of a burning issue for me. Obviously, following a recent case where I felt I was, denied access to justice. It was in paper, but in terms of practice, I didn't have any legal representation or, top constitutional lawyer or barrister or, those kind of people, there's a few of them there, but they're not helping us. And, the question is why not, because it's a very serious constitutional issue. So we don't know why they're not helping us, but perhaps, sometimes you're better off, believing that maybe you're better than them, and maybe they don't want to maybe that's, I mean, don't mean that to be in any pejorative way, but perhaps sometimes an objective outside view, or one that's based on a lot of research, intellectual rigor, can help. So maybe this is why there's such resistance. To helping me, because I'm looking for justice for ordinary people. I think courts probably might behind the scenes want this as well. It's kind of funny how it might be portrayed. But let's look at it. This paper that I'm just writing, it's a short report, but it kind of reflects what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, and my own lived experience as well, and that of many others. So it's not about me. The paper is called, well, this is just a description of it, Beyond Words, Restoring Real Justice. And this is a global matter. So it's not just in Ireland. So what I'm hearing and reading in the, in the comments is very much, these people are, I won't say global influencers, but they're global thinkers on my YouTube station. They're very good thinkers. And, this is very, it's a privilege, to have such good thinkers following me, and adding their stories, because there are some really smart people following me, and I mean, I'm privileged to have such a elite, and I don't mean that just great thinkers. I'm privileged to have this kind of elite group, contributing to the contributing their wisdom and their thoughts to the dialogue and to the work that we're trying to do. So, I'm very grateful for that. So, across the world, a quiet cry is rising. Just let me explain what I'm hearing. I mean, this is what I always say every time I go to the courts. And every time I go, it's proven 100%. A cry that echoes through homes, hospitals and courtrooms. There is no justice. I mean, how many times do you hear that? There's no such thing as justice. It's not a slogan, it's a lived reality, a truth whispered by millions who feel unseen and heard and unprotected. And we're just a small group of people on this channel sharing that same view. So we're just able to articulate on behalf, just not of ourselves on this channel, but on behalf of the world and the people around us. So, the people on this channel are not all about themselves. They're certainly not. Quite the opposite. They're very civic-minded, and humane in their and insightful. So, for too many, justice no longer feels like a right. It feels like a luxury. Cases drag on for years. Legal fees spiral beyond reach. Systems designed to protect instead alienate. When justice depends on wealth and influence, democracy itself began to fracture. So I'm reading over and over again, there's no such thing as democracy. But where I'm coming from, the reason there's no such thing as democracy is there's no justice. So without justice, you can't have democracy. So it's a democracy, dictatorship, all of that. What I'm trying to see is why is this happening? And I'm putting it down to the inaccessibility of justice. So this is where I feel we should tilt the balance. We should start the work of reframing justice or redefining it in a way that heals rather than punishes, and by offering affordable justice through arbitration first, and that accessibility will renew democracy, and that's the way I'm going here in terms of trying to put it all together. So it's just looking at the comments and saying, how can I solve this one? This is my approach anyway, and I think it's fairly sound based on the research I've done over many years that I haven't written about. I'm only writing about it now. Maybe 12 years of research is coming out now in writing. I've had 12 years to think about this or to try and process it. So when justice depends on wealth or influence, democracy itself begins to fracture. The rule of law becomes a privilege, not a protection. On paper, every constitution promises equality. We have the Irish Constitution reading it is like nirvana. I mean, where is it in practice? But in practice, most people face barriers so high they can never climb them. Legal aid systems are underfunded, procedures are written in language few could understand, courtrooms re-traumatise those who already suffer. I mean, what was said to me in that courtroom was shocking by the judge. I won't say what he said, but I mean, it was shocking. I mean, it was really deeply traumatising. I mean, I should be paid costs for the insults that came from his judgment. It was shockingly insulting, and it was very demeaning of something of my calibre. Really demeaning. I'm still very upset at the way I was dismissed and ridiculed. I mean, it wasn't funny. I mean, it would be funny if it was a drama, but it was real life. I mean, well, perhaps it mirrors real life, but I don't want to be a sacrificial lamb for anybody's interest in justice for all, but anyway, here I am. Democracy promises justice for all, but delivers justice for some. I would say justice for very few, the wealthy and the well-connected. That's all. And we won't, and even does it deliver does it really deliver for the wealthy? There are certain people in and out of court for years and trying to get justice, and they're extremely billionaires, and it's not serving them at all. I'd advise them to run away from the courts altogether and support my system, and they'd be bigger billionaires. And better justice. So we won't mention any particular names, but there's one name we all know that's regularly in the courts for justice, and I would say perhaps is paid a fortune in legal fees and has no justice, and there's several people like that. So it isn't. This isn't just for. This is for all. This is healing for all. Just because. Injustice and a broken system can wound all. That's the issue. But it's particularly wounding in those who can't afford even access. But even those who can, the question is, does it really heal at all? No, it doesn't. Injustice doesn't just break laws; it breaks people. Research across continents shows a direct link. This is where I'm coming from now. In my research, looking at this, because I know it's very clear. Research across continents shows a direct link between unresolved legal problems and mental health decline. That's no surprise. Stress, anxiety, depression, the invisible wounds of systems that fail to listen. Now, you even have that for any dispute in the workplace or, anywhere you are. If you're in a dispute and you're badly treated, or you're not listened to, or you're not given a fair hearing, you'll end up with this sort of thing, So this is where the arbitration needs to come in at all levels. Unresolved injustice is not just a legal issue. What I'm saying, what the evidence is, it's a public health crisis. Families and people carry the scars. Communities absorb the pain. Societies lose trust. When justice fails, everything else unravels. Housing insecurity grows. Workplace discrimination thrives. All kinds of discrimination. Not, it's just, all kinds of discrimination, which is terrible for people. Economic progress stalls. And democracy in particular erodes when people lose faith in the system meant to protect them. So this is where I'm coming at, trying to examine what are the solutions to everybody saying there's no democracy. What democracy? This was a big point in the recent, made in the recent, all over the place in the recent presidential nomination. There's no democracy. There's no democracy. So what I'm trying to do is see how do you tilt it to get more democracy in a way that's affordable and that heals that sense of brokenness that's clear from so many people that stayed away or spoiled their votes in the recent elections, which is the majority of people. Affordable justice isn't just moral, it's practical. That's the point. It allows nations to refocusing on the things that really affect us: housing, education, human dignity. And there is another way, as I've said, a path towards healing and fairness. We can build justice systems. We can. if we have the will, and if we have the, if we have less resistance from those who are benefiting from this, doing this to the world, doing all of this harm, and trying to inform them or get them to turn around, that they can apply their skills to do it this way. Whatever skills they have that are harming society, they can apply those same skills or learn new skills to try and do it this way. So it's not about people losing their jobs, it's about retraining them to do better, to do jobs that deliver better outcomes for people. So this is, people say, oh, the lawyers, they have status, and they don't want to lose the status, so they won't support this. No, they can have equal status in this system. But they'll surely, if it delivers more humane outcomes, that'll be healthier for everybody. It doesn't mean that they should be paid less, but they might get, for example, pensions and things like that they haven't had before. I'm not saying all law should be publicly funded, but I think there probably needs to be a lot more of it in the arbitration side of it. That certainly should be affordable. Therefore, lawyers should be publicly funded, arbitration lawyers in that system, I would imagine. So restorative models replace punishment with healing and dialogue. Trauma-informed training teaches judges and lawyers to avoid re-traumatization. Digital inclusion opens access to those long excluded. Well, I'm very happy with the data analytics and my work that I've only found out in the last week, which kind of puts me in a global level that I never even believed I was in. But I know it now, because every week, I'm reaching more and more countries. 55 today, 55. From. So my work is resonating, because this is all global. But I mean, we have to fix the situation in Ireland first. I mean, there's no point in just fixing the world if we can't fix ourselves. I mean, they also we say that you have to kind of heal yourself first before you can. But we can share the journey. And certainly a lot of people are reading this stuff, and it's fairly simple, really. It's common sense. It's common sense. And most importantly, justice must end not with judgment, but with resolution. So maybe that judgment should change from judgment to resolution. There's no resolution with said judge, but maybe that said judgment should change to a resolution with said judge. But I have no control over that. So a democracy's strength is measured not by words in its constitution, but by lived experience of its people. Humane, accessible and affordable justice rebuilds trust. It heals communities, it reduces burnout and restores faith in democracy itself. So that's where I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to answer. There's a clear, there's very clear from the YouTube comments that the vast majority of the participants are talking about, the huge problem with democracy in Ireland and the democracy deficit, as I call it. And I'm trying to figure out how that could be sorted in an affordable way. And I think this is a genuinely good first step. Is to redefine justice and to change the justice system to an affordable justice system, because it is having a massive effect on society, and people do not recognise particularly the mental health effects and the societal effects, community effects of unaffordable justice. So justice is not an expense, it's an investment in our collective stability, in our shared humanity. So the world is weary, absolutely. We're all weary from inequality, burnout and broken systems, and they're all interlinked. But there is hope beyond words. Justice must once again mean healing, fairness and accessibility, not as a privilege, but as a promise. Because real justice is not a concept, it's the foundation of peace, dignity and hope. Only when every person can access justice can our societies truly begin to heal. So that's the video for today, and the kind of message. And it's the title of the paper is Beyond Words: Restoring Real Justice in a World of Inequality, Burnout and Broken Systems. So what's coming across to me through the comments is exactly that. this brokenness, this inequality, the sense of inequality, this problem with democracy, and it's all linked, in my opinion. Where it's linked to is access to justice, which I'm very familiar with myself. So I can see it all now in a kind of a wider global, not just national issue, a local issue, but I can see it. There's global patterns exactly the same. So if we want to renew democracy, it's absolutely essential that we change the justice system to an affordable one, and to one that heals rather than punishes. And there's no absolute reason why this can't be introduced in Ireland on a pilot basis. It is in other countries. They haven't done it to the extent that I'm suggesting it, but it's proving really beneficial. But the resistance seems to be coming from, the legal profession perhaps, and other people. And really the legal profession needs to. They're not running the country, are they? I mean, it looks like the legal profession are running the country. They're not running the country. The people should be running the country, because it's a democracy. And, we shouldn't be locked out of democracy because we believe in the fact that the people, by the Constitution, are actually running the country. Each individual person is part of that government in a sense of what it should mean in reality. So you know what I'm saying? We have an inclusive government? An inclusive government surely would be addressing the huge problem with access to justice on behalf of the people that it's supposed to represent. And they're not doing it. And it's time for change, and it's time for them to listen. But unless we all speak up and speak out, nothing will happen. So I'm not asking for a revolution or any kind of, it's just speak our truth. And, it's not about, burning down this or burning. No, it's not about anything like that. We're just asking for common sense. And we're not asking for anything more than our rights under the Constitution. And, for too long, we have stayed too quiet and silent. And now, but it's not about just jumping up and down saying everything is wrong. It's about offering practical and sensible solutions. So that's what I'm trying to do. Look at all the problems and say, what is the best solution for justice for all? And that will tilt democracy. That will tilt democracy in the right way. People will feel that more included. They will feel more that their voice matters, which is part of what democracy is all about. So our rights, it's more like rights. The rights are respected if they have access to affordable justice. So that's my global thinking, and I think it'll resonate with all around the world, because this is not just it's obviously very, very like the last 5, 6, 7 or 8 years has really made things really difficult in Ireland, and it's very clear from the Spoil the Vote campaign and the many that stayed away that they are, they feel the government are completely disconnected from the struggles of ordinary everyday life, So, and I mean, what I'm saying is a global, it's really globally resonating globally, but we have to fix it in Ireland first, we have to look at ourselves and our duties to our peoples, and anyone in government or in the county councils should be looking at what their duties are to the people that represent them. And I'm just one of those people who was able to articulate the big picture, and I know I'm talking common sense. I'm just asking for a common sense, affordable solution so that we can have housing, we can have all these things at affordable housing. And it's not communism. It's not communism. It's justice, and that's not communism. Justice is about everybody having their rights, and that's not communism. So or socialism. No, it's humanity and justice. So that's where I'm focusing my and it's not government overreach. No, justice is not government overreach. That would be an unfair representation. Somebody was suggesting that about me. No. But affordable justice is like affordable education. I don't think it can be privatised. So that's what I'm saying. So we need to. It's not make. If we want to make justice affordable, it'll have to be paid by the state. If that's the only way to do it. In the first instance, I don't think we can do any more of this farming everything out to the private sector. I think that's failed. Certain things are useful, but no, farming everything out to the private sector, and the private sector are taking a massive amount of money from the state anyway. So why not? No, they're paying a huge amount to lawyers. So why not have affordable justice? It doesn't make any sense to be paying these millions and millions to lawyers and all these firms when we could have an affordable justice system through the arbitration system first. So from every angle, the mental health, the justice, the practical, the common sense. It's absolutely clear to me the way we should be going. And, for the majority of people, surely the governments should see the common sense here. And the legal profession should take a step back and look at ethics and morality and healing and examine their own consciences about what they're doing and what they're getting away with and who are they really benefiting.